Thank you for tuning into the Sports Peninsula podcast. Coming up, we're concluding our 2026 NFL Draft prospect coverage with a review and analysis of the first round that concluded on April 23rd in Pittsburgh, PA. We'll give our thoughts on the first round and also on some day 2 early picks as well. We'll rank and review what Brad Holmes and the Detroit Lions were able to do as well next. Now, here is your Sports Peninsula team. Welcome, everybody, to the Sports Peninsula podcast. My name is Dave Brzezinski. Drew. I'm here with Coach Andy Scheel. We're talking a little bit of a review here of the first round and some of the second round that's going on as we record this tonight, Coach, and lots to talk about. Real exciting stuff, kind of concluding what we've done all with the prospect group. You did a hell of a job on with ranking them. Really good stuff. And, with our first round overall, I was looking at, kind of like how did we hit, right? And we posted this a few days ago, and I'll be bringing that up shortly. But we only hit on 2 picks, actually, in the first round. And one of them was ironic, was that it was a trade up with Kansas City trading up to 6 to get Delane from LSU, Mansur Delane. So that's who we had going there 9th, and they felt they needed to trade up to get him at 6. But our top 17 players all were first-round picks. And we only missed on 6 of them out of the 32. And I wouldn't call them big misses either. There were a couple surprises, certainly, that we did see in the draft, certainly. But certainly no surprise at number 1. We won't go into Mendoza right now because there's a lot of other things to talk about. That was like the no-brainer. But let's talk about the Detroit Lions and what they did and what they were able to do in the first round, Coach, taking Miller out of Clemson.
It's kind of hitting the nail square on the head. I mean, that's there were a lot of different kind of mock-ups, a lot of different scenarios, a lot of different possibilities of offensive tackle. And how do you do this in regards to moving forward? Well, the Lions ultimately do so by drafting a right offensive tackle, thus signifying and confirming the move of Penei Sewell to the left side. And that's what's going to happen. Blake Miller is a guy that started 50 games at Clemson University at right offensive tackle. He started a game like 3 or 4 days, I believe, after his 18th birthday. He never missed a practice, let alone a game or a quarter of action that they voluntarily would have him in. This is an Iron Man. He can play both tackle positions. However, we're going to see him play the right-hand side. This is a grit index player. This is a Campbell molded player. This is a culture fit of the truest format of the grit era of the Detroit Lions. Big, heavy-handed, movement generator, road grader type who does move. He's athletic. His RAS score's got a lot of green on it, Drew. This is an athletic tackle. He's an outstanding run blocker with great pass blocking core. That'll get nothing but better with the tutelage of Hank Fraley. He's a finisher. He likes to really be that combo partner, down blocker, base drive blocker, and he likes to put guys back into their heels, and he likes to finish on the ground, but he likes to finish on the ground with a defender underneath him, which that's not leaving your feet in the wrong way. Drew, it is a match made in heaven and an imperfect world, because I'm not so sure that this is an ill scenario over or underneath any other scenario. Really, I really look at this just strictly as a best case scenario for the Lions.
Yeah, I think, ironically, we actually had Monroe Freeling ranked ahead of Blake Miller. And you can check that out on our podcast. It's in a playlist that we have for 2026 draft prospects. Check that out on YouTube. We have Freeling over him predominantly because he was more ready to play left tackle if needed, and Sewell would stay at right tackle. But realistically, and I know in our view, those two are kind of 5A, 5B, so to speak. That's where we had them.
I think, and that's actually the reason why I would have had him ranked a little higher was not because of experience or the ability to be more ready. This is the guy that's more ready, and that's not even an argument. The other guy has played in 24 games. He's played. He started 16. This guy has played in 50 and started in 50. So pure, plain, and simple, the experience factor goes strictly to Blake Miller. Monroe Freeling's upside in his some of his ability and some of his testables, he is very much a work in progress, where Blake Miller may be a little closer towards his ceiling. So who has a higher ceiling and a higher arc? That's Monroe Freeling. However, that arc has to be reached, where Blake Miller is. Are we going to get a better Blake Miller in year 2, year 3? Probably yes. Are you getting your best Blake Miller in the rookie deal? I think you're getting. He's going to get into his peak.
Yeah,
and that's, after that we shall see. I don't know if Blake Miller is a 15-year veteran. All I know is Blake Miller is likely to be ready to start at right tackle in the beginning of September. I know Monroe Freeling would not be ready to start at left tackle for the Detroit Lions in that same time frame. And you know what? Monroe Freeling may start. He may start for Carolina because that's where he was drafted. He was drafted very closely by. This is not to shade Monroe Freeling. He has tremendous upside. He has the athletic ability of a tight end in a 6'7", 315-pound body. It's not his fault. I was having a conversation with Coach Scarcelli yesterday about Monroe Freeling.
Okay.
Prior to the draft. And he compared a guy that just, he really broke him in to his routine at Michigan. And that's Stringer, the former Lion.
Oh,
lineman.
Yeah. Okay. Rich Stringer.
Rich Stringer only started 1 year at U of M because it was that difficult to get on the field as an offensive lineman in that heyday period of Bo Schembechler. You had it was a who's who of the Midwest playing in there in the interior offensive line. Rich Stringer got in there as a senior. He, I think, then would take it to about a 10, 12-year NFL football career. Good chunk of that with the Detroit Lions as a starter.
Yeah.
So, I mean, you don't necessarily have to be this, guy that's the chosen one that started for 4 years or 3 years or for 2 years or whatever the case may be. That being said, experience is a factor and play fit and play style is a factor. And it was Blake Miller over Monroe Freeling for me. Always, if it was between those two, Caden Proctor for me, and I know a lot of it's testables. I know a lot of it's, I believe in these kinds of things. I guess I've just coached, and I've tried to coach defensive line and defensive ends and linebackers the vast majority of my coaching career from the individual position groups, standpoint. I just know what big, giant, athletic offensive linemen can do to you. And it's not very easy to work, to deal with. And 6 foot, whatever, what is he, 6'5", 360, 370.
Oh, yeah.
And benching 565 and squatting 815 and doing all these things. And I know the Lions loved him. And had he been there at 17, I'm wondering what would have happened. But that being said, if this, if you want to call Blake Miller a consolation, be it. Maybe you're right. I mean, maybe you're right, but it's a hell of a consolation, and we did the right thing here, Drew.
This is, yeah, you're right. I mean, no, I agree. They wanted Proctor. That's who we had them getting. It was wishful thinking, obviously. I mean, he went 12th overall. But at the end of the day, yeah, they took the best. Look, the only negatives I've been reading about this pick, to be honest with you, is really not a knock on Miller, but the fact that in draft prognosticators' eyes or in whatever AI generated mock simulators come up with, that there were better players on the board. Well, that's awesome. Maybe Casey Concepcion's a better ranked player on but I'm not sure the Detroit Lions should be drafting a wide receiver.
Dylan Thieneman.
Yeah.
Which
Yeah.
I mean that's I know I messed around at times and took him there.
Oh, sure, sure.
But I mean it's just not as pressing of a need. Oh, well, what about Branch and Joseph? Yes, and who's to say that that's not going to take place? At some point in time. I mean, there's some really good players. I'm going to be brokenhearted. I was messing around. I was not I was a little bit frustrated when I saw Proctor come off the board.
Mhm.
That was the guy I wanted.
Yeah.
And not that I wasn't other people that I would be very, very happy with, which I am right now. But I kind of was messing around with I was pissed. I will feel similarly if Jalen Kilgore comes off the table before we're able to act and see if we could try to get him. That way, if we could somehow wind up with Blake Miller, offensive tackle, Derek Moore, edge, who we drafted here with a 44th pick and a trade up. And if somehow we could acquire Jalen Kilgore of South Carolina, this guy is very cool with what happens the rest of the way, because that would, for me, be 3 lion fits, 3 of our most glaring needs, and 1 player fills both, and that's Kilgore with safety and corner. I know that's kind of down the road, but I mean, that being said, that's the guy I'm looking for. I have not, in earnest, been having my head turned, Drew, and I'm not checking my phone very, very fastidiously here, looking at prospects. I would expect Jalen Kilgore to come off. I won't be, I'll just be temporarily, disappointed, because I get it's going to be kind of difficult to get him. We have such a gap now in our picks. I believe we're not on the board until 118. Is it the next pick for the Lions?
Yeah, yeah, and it's at 55 as we speak right now. He is still on the board, but they're at pick 55 for the Patriots right now are on the board. Eli Stowers just went to Philly from Vanderbilt, our number 2 tight end, second tight end off the board. Great.
Philadelphia.
Yep.
Who's so we have Goddard, and who was tight end 2 this past year?
Oh gosh.
They made a move.
Yeah, they did.
Oh, we know who it is now.
We certainly do. Well, Grant Calcaterra's been there a little bit.
Somebody's not coming back.
Now they got Johnny Munt on there. Cameron Latu. EJ Jenkins is on there on the roster.
Maybe this is some sort of like thing, because we know that the Lions are going to
13 formation,
the 13 personnel or 12 personnel,
13,
or multiple tight end personnel.
Mm-hmm.
Might be what we're starting to feel like a little bit of a fad in football, because it really allows you to operate your RPO systems with a bunch of sure-handed, short route receivers that are typically physical, good run blockers, who, if it does become a run, can turn from being a route runner into a run blocker, kind of on the fly. And so it does kind of make sense. That's why guys like Jamison Williams and Ernest, he's a very effortful blocker, where Amon-Ra might be a little bit more substantive a blocker physically.
Yeah.
We do have a couple of receivers that do that. It's the type of receivers we're looking for.
Oh yeah.
Tight ends by nature are expected to be run blockers. Inline run blockers traditionally.
It was a given. That was your job. You were just eligible to catch passes back in the Ditka days, right? And he actually was one of the more prolific. That's why he's in the Hall of Fame. One of the more prolific receiving tight ends of his day in the mid 60s, early 70s. And then the position just evolved. Athletes are becoming bigger, stronger, faster, and now you've got guys that are 6'4", 250 that can run a 4.46 down the field. Oh, you can do that. So 13 personnel all of a sudden makes a lot of sense, and you can see Philly's going that route. I mean, that's a loaded up roster. Hey, I don't blame them. And like you said, even we've heard that talk in Detroit too. So, one thing I did want to ask you, Coach, there was certainly a pick that surprised me. I was actually halfway surprised he was going to go in the first round. Was Ty Simpson out of Alabama? No knock on the guy. I just didn't think that teams would be going for a quarterback. But then there was rumblings that Pittsburgh, Rodgers isn't signed yet. So there was rumblings there, and it made sense. And I've seen some.
I thought we were going to do it.
Yeah, and that's what we ended up. And that's what we ended up saying. But what really surprised me though is
where he went.
Where he went. Yeah, I mean, he goes to the Rams at 13, and I was really stumped. I couldn't. And I get that Matt Stafford's 38. I get it. And again, Ty Simpson's a really nice quarterback, and it's a luxury pick, is what I'm trying to say here. It's not even really similar to when Green Bay took Love while they had Rodgers on the roster, because Rodgers was like 35 or 36. I get Stafford's 38. Now, they've also got Stetson Bennett on the roster, but Simpson certainly got a leg up on him right off the hop. I mean, there's no doubt about that. You take a look at it. We had
Garoppolo.
Yeah, and well, he's out. I mean, he's a free agent. He sounds like he's going to retire actually. So, so they did need somebody, but they also needed more help because they have a smaller window for a Super Bowl opportunity here, Coach, and that's why I'm wondering. You've got Stafford now. You still got a young guy on the bench, that you have at least has a shot in Bennett. You could go get another veteran to get behind Stafford, but man, you got to have at pick 13 a guy that's going to contribute day one, starter reps, and contribute significantly. That's why I'm a little perplexed by. What are your thoughts?
Well, clearly McVay and company did not feel that way, and I'm not so sure that Stetson Bennett was ever going to be the future of the Rams at quarterback. This was a guy that he was like 25 I think he was 25 years old when he entered the league.
Yeah,
so, Stetson Bennett's already like 28 years old. Stetson Bennett's a backup quarterback. Ty Simpson has at least a player arc that's much higher than Stetson Bennett. And I saw an interview watching some NFL Network coverage prior to the start of the second round tonight, and Sean McVay was on, and he said that we have had a discussion, and we'll leave it at that right now with Stetson Bennett. So, I think, there's a bit of a spelling here. It doesn't necessarily mean that they're not going to. We saw teams going away from carrying three quarterbacks. And I think we've seen that kind of roster trend reach its peak, because you're starting to see teams, Drew, once again, start to carry three quarterbacks.
Yep.
And much of that is through the practice squad, because you're right. You're going to leave him on the practice squad. You really want my practice squad quarterback, so you really need a guy that's just not going to play for you. Where the other guys on the practice squad very well could get called up, because if you're getting called up off the practice squad at quarterback and you're going to play, that means all of the quarterbacks now. Which you're going to be called to be a backup. So it's a safe spot to stash a third good quarterback. That easily can be Stetson Bennett, I think, for the Los Angeles Rams. And I know I'm probably coming across as a bit disrespectful and to Stetson. I just call him what it is. It's
realistic. It's just being,
hey man. It's awesome. But it's Stafford's world. This is going to be the guy though, because that Matt Stafford clearly has it still.
Oh yeah,
he's actually.
He's got two more.
He might be at his best. And I think, and when it's not his best,
he's coming off an MVP. I mean, he's solidified his Hall of Fame credentials now. He's legit.
Yeah.
There's
and so he's at his best. So I mean, and once he's not at his best, he will be done. And he will be able to determine that. So I mean, kudos to him for being able to finish things the way he would have wanted to individually. He does deserve that. He's a hardworking man. He did everything he could here. I think the time is settled now to where we can truly focus on what we have without feeling Matt Stafford. And it's just like, because you know why, Drew, and I think I it's been able to do that because we got JV back, and it feels a little bit different to me. I mean, I don't. Does it feel like we have JV back? I don't know if it feels that much different. I mean, I know he's not very much playing anymore. Matt Stafford, if he was to come back we're not going to get him back as to be a backup quarterback. So I mean, that's not going to happen. And he's not going anywhere anytime soon. That said, we know he's not the healthiest. I mean, there's injuries that could snap things into a different scenario very quickly for him.
Oh, yeah. I mean,
he's endured a lot of contact in that career.
I mean, let's face it, both the Rams lines are very similar in the sense that if that whoever's under center goes down, they're in trouble. They got it. I mean, Teddy B's back in Detroit. He can play. He's not Jared Goff.
No, I mean, and that's just, I guess, where we would need. I think that's why I think they're entertaining still. The idea of a third, because they have to answer a what if scenario. If there's a what if scenario, long term, God forbid, he would snag an Achilles or torch an ACL or rupture a right, rotator cuff or something like that, where he's done for a year. I mean, he's done for a year. I think Bridgewater is going to then ride that wave. What I'm growing more concerned about more and more of, Drew, is Teddy Bridgewater's come in and out of retirement once. He's not played much at all the last several years, and because he was once a starter and then he had an unfortunate injury that he rebounded from and became the best backup in college in NFL football for a few years there. And when he could be depended on to play stretches and that kind of thing.
I mean,
that's that same Teddy Bridgewater that I'm not really thinking about it very much anymore. I don't really care if they bring in a third guy. If we can bring in Haynes King, okay, but he's going to be UDFA. Yeah. And I bring in Ty Simpson. I know we're kind of free flowing, doing things a little differently this time, which is kind of fun.
Yeah.
He's a very good play action quarterback. He has shown that ability. Again, he's a coach's kid. He's very good with play action. And if you're good at play action, Ty Simpson's going to get the opportunity to develop. Things had been said too, and people looked at the negatives of the quarterback that was drafted in and around this time in Green Bay when Brett Favre was seemingly not quite done with the Packers. And sooner than later, that happened, and Aaron Rodgers jumped in just fine. So, I think you're getting Ty Simpson's going to get the right treatment from the Los Angeles Rams. He's not going to start right away. He's not going to play much right away.
He's made out on this better than anybody. Ty, this is it's wow. What a
great situation.
Great situation. Learning behind the mind of McVay and the arm of Stafford and the mind of Stafford, and no pressure really. There's pressure. You got to be ready to play, but you're not going to be the guy for at least 2 years.
No, and maybe longer.
You never know.
So that's we still got some pretty interesting players available. You got Jermod McCoy still out there, Drew. Here we are, I believe we're at pick
58.
58 right now is about ready to be made.
Yeah.
And you've got Jermod McCoy out of Tennessee. You've got Emmanuel McNeil Warren, nice safety, our number 2 for safety prospect, on the board. And wouldn't it be interesting to see the Cleveland Browns draft a Toledo Rocket? That would be interesting to see if that.
They got him, Coach.
They did it.
They got him. Yep, they got him.
Wow, so he just heads a little further down old 80-90 there.
Turnpike.
Good for him. That's a great deal, man. So we root for Mac guys. We Drew and I are Mac products from Western Michigan. So we like to see those fellows, even though we're not giant Toledo Rocket guys necessarily. We have nothing against the services of Emmanuel McNeil Warren, and congrats to him, the newest Cleveland Brown. So who else is on this? Well, let's go all the way back. It's an interesting name that's kind of out there and kind of lingering as a premier prospect, because we do have a position group that has not been addressed yet, a substance position group that has not been addressed yet with its number 1 profile player, number 1 on our list, and that's Connor Liu of Auburn, the center. That would go all the way back. It was a long time ago that we talked about centers. And he's out there. Keith Abney, Trey Zune. I guess what I'm saying, we're so far away from even thinking about a Lions pick. What do you think when we finally get? Because on my list right now that I'm looking through, the 118th prospect is Nick Barrett. Who would be like around our 20th defensive tackle prospect on our list, 20th or 19th. Talon Green, who I know you would feature as a quarterback, is in and around this area. We're talking about like Oscar Delt, Jacoby Lane. Are these the prospects we're talking about, or is it a little bit further down the line? Jalen Kilgore is ranked on this list as the 132nd prospect. Let's make that happen. I don't know, Drew. I'm being a little bit like the young punk coming home from 2nd grade and looking through the Christmas wish book. I might be being a little greedy. I'm sorry here.
Oh, no worries. Good stuff, Coach. You know what? That's what you're looking at. But here's the thing. I want to talk about the quarterbacks at least for Detroit this year. I don't want to see him drafting a quarterback. Certainly not right now. And I'm really not interested in it in this draft. And the reason I'm not, and there's a lot of logic behind doing it. I'm not saying it's dumb. What the hell are you doing, Holmes? No, that's not what I'm saying. But they need a safety. They need a safety. And I mean,
they're roster needy. They are.
Exactly.
And it's also going to do things.
They're roster needy, but they also have a Super Bowl window. This team is just a few spots away from being right there again and being a serious Super Bowl contender. I feel that way. I would think most Lions fans feel that way. So
they're a roster needy Super Bowl contender. I mean, that's why you don't mess around, necessarily taking anything other than a UDFA arm. I'm all right with that.
Okay, I'm talking draft capital. No, I don't want any draft capital on unless they're able to acquire. They've just traded a pick away to move up already. Mm-hmm. So I definitely do not want to see a quarterback drafted by the Lions this year. Let's roll with Bridgewater. Go get UDFA. There's other veterans out there. You can get in a 3rd quarterback. They're out there. They will be there.
There's free agent quarterbacks out there still. So I mean,
that's why. Yeah. I get it, but I mean, I don't know if I was a Rams fan, I would not be thrilled. Although Ty Simpson's a really nice player, we're not going to get Ty Simpson.
Yeah, I mean, I guess I'm detached from it enough because I'm not a Los Angeles Rams fan. I am nervous about the Lions. I am nervous about the Pistons.
I'm not dwelling on that. What I'm saying is that that scenario could happen with the Lions. I just don't want to see it because
without, if I get a chance, I hear what you're saying. Mm-hmm. It didn't happen to us. I guess had that been the Lions doing that, I guess I'm not thinking about it. We would have no reason to do it. So I mean, like, it just was never going to happen. So, like you said, Drew, I don't anticipate them drafting a quarterback.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I mean, this just doesn't really. It's unnecessary. When are they going to play? There's no clear. This is a Jared Goff team. I don't know how long. I mean, it could be a decade.
It could.
I mean, it could be 3-4 years. It could be 10 years.
Mm-hmm.
After age 35, 36, health does come into.
Oh yeah.
I mean, the thing is, we keep him upright. He doesn't get hurt. That's why guys like Tom Brady played until they're what was he, 45?
Yeah.
Or whatever.
I mean, the guy could still play probably.
Manning, how old was he? 40, 41?
Yeah.
Okay, so I mean, that's the type of quarterback Jared Goff is. And yes, I did just say that. It's the type of quarterback he is. I didn't call him as successfully. Clearly has not done that yet. But that is the type of player he is. Those type of players, if their arm can remain healthy, and they don't sustain any critical Achilles, knees, those kinds of things, Drew, they don't use their feet as a weapon. They can play for a long time. So, I mean, the quarterback position is really not something I don't anticipate the Lions probably seriously entertaining as a future investment anymore for quite some time. And that would have to prove itself to be different. I don't see that happening. I think we have the guy that's going to be there for quite some time. Now, in regards to a couple of really interesting players that are out there, there's some pretty good tight end prospects out there.
Well, speaking of that, Marlon Klein just went off the board to Houston.
So they're coming a little earlier.
Yep, 59.
Marlon Klein was a guy that we had maybe pegged a little further down the board.
Well, but we liked him a lot though, because not just because he's from Michigan, because he can block. He's a
player. And
he's a player.
Michigan's got a lot of tight ends out there right now. So I mean,
mm-hmm.
AJ Barner. There's the Wolverines got a few tight ends out there. So
yeah,
that's an interesting position. But I guess getting back to the Lions, and I don't know if we're turning this into a Lions show or not. I'm fine if we do. I would be thinking defensive back, though. So very, very much so am I thinking defensive back.
Yes.
And it could be a corner. It still could be. It seems like that's clearing up a little bit for good. I mean, in the good way. I think we're starting to, a couple of faces are kind of popping up. Like we're going to be able to play. But nonetheless, I mean, there's some nice cornerback prospects out there. And I'm talking about pure cornerback prospects, but like I am feeling like a safety-ish prospect that we may like may be out there. I know I will not mention his name anymore, but who do you like out there, Drew? I mean, and I know you can't look at the top. We look at the top of the board right now. That's wishful thinking. You never know with Brad Holmes. Our guy could pop back on the board at any given point in time. The man does not mince opportunity when he likes a player or really wants somebody. He is sure as hell going to try to stay up and get him. Who do you like? And this is looking at pick 60 right now. I mean, you still have Jermod McCoy on the board.
Yeah. Well,
their 6th overall prospect.
Unfortunate. Well, yeah.
We know that story though. Tell the story, Drew.
Well, it's the injuries, right? And he didn't play last year. Now he's been given a clean bill of health, but that's all well and good. But that's a lot of draft capital, first or second round tenure, even on a guy who hasn't played in a year. He's gonna. I mean, wow. I don't want to compare him to Hendon Hooker in the sense they both Tennessee Volunteers, right? But they both had significant knee injuries. Hooker went in the 3rd round. He's a first round top 10 talent coming out of college. but he couldn't even play for a year. McCoy is ready. It's still a lot of draft capital, coach, so it's making sense. But I guess the question is, if you're Brad Holmes and you like him that much, I mean, he's been known to take guys with history, but here's the problem: history's come to fruition, and then you've got like a Kirby Joseph right now battling a pretty significant degenerative knee, right? So not good. What do you think?
I mean,
He's talented.
he is. I mean, I'm just kind of looking in and around this area of player. I mean, do you think do we entertain doubling up at edge with the 118th pick? I mean, I am no longer going to say, "Oh, I wish we had both." Well, we don't anymore because we moved up to get one heck of a defensive end prospect, Drew. That we should probably talk about a little bit more about Derek Moore because I mean, he's an edge. He's not like a hybrid linebacker per se. We're not going to put him and box him off like as a switch off with Derek Barnes or anything like that. He is going to be an edge. He is going to be, I would guess, someone that is going to be right with DJ Wanham and rotating at that right edge spot the vast majority of the time. It's going to be those two. They're going to come with it alongside Hutch, and Hutch is going to rotate out as well too. More, and we'll see how they work with that, and they come off the field at times. But you get a great effort run player, a guy that sets an impeccable edge on the run. I think he almost has a better edge on the run than it's a more disciplined edge than what Hutch sets. Hutch is an explosive guy. He is so eager to get up the field. And there are times, that he is a little bit out of control in the run, just because he is so explosive and off the ball. Where Moore is a little more calculated. Now, does he get the get offs that Aiden Hutchinson gets in pass rush all the time? No, but he's a little bit more what you would call a strong side defensive end, where Hutch is more of like that rush pin back side. More times than not. Hutch is not going to be responsible for pinning the point of contact on the run. He's going to be a chase backside cleanup player. He even gets a little too far upfield at times, and that it's kind of the price of doing business when you've got someone that explosive. More times than not, he squeezes it and is there to wrap things there too. More, you're going to be really impressed with how he defends the run. You're going to be the real defender that he does that, and he is hard on offensive tackles. He is physically hard on them.
He grades out very well. This past season on PFF, he's graded out at 92.4 on his rush, 76.3 on his run defense. That's and he's improved every year. He's graded out at 89.9 this year, and he improved from 77.8 to 78.9 the last 3 years. And then when you look at how he's progressed, end of the season were some of his rougher games, but at the same time, he played. It's still a steady progress, still steady efficiency. He's a very nice player. I'm getting analytical. I'm not that analytical. I'm just.
Well, we have a card. We'll be talking when we come back in another episode when we review the draft, and we'll really break him down.
But bottom line is, the Lions really. Let's face it, they needed to draft a tackle and an edge defender at 17 and 50. They needed to. They traded up to 44 and also parted with pick 118. I believe
128.
128. They have 118. They
retained 118.
Yep, they retained 118. They traded 128. So they addressed it. So now when you talk about, okay, what do you do going forward? Well, it's kind of it's a hybrid. It's best player available except at certain positions. You shouldn't take a receiver. You shouldn't take a quarterback. You probably don't need to take a running back. Quite frankly, you really shouldn't be doing that. I'm just. But then it should be best player available. I would hope it's a DB. If all things being equal, I'm with you. They need to get a DB, and I'm telling you, Kilgore from South Carolina. That he can play. I'm not comparing to Branch, but Branch came in being able to play the slot and safety, slot corner and safety. He's more of a slot corner, but he's gonna drop back to safety as well. He's just little different, but he's a versatile guy.
I think you can compare him to Brian Branch.
Oh,
I think it's fair because I mean, you're not. I mean, Brian Branch is Brian Branch, but I mean, we have to look at this kind of like a program, like it's a college football program. The Lions are a found. We've just still are kind of getting used to that. We know what it looks like at the college level, like at the University of Michigan when they were so good for so long. What did they do? They ran the football well and they defended the run well. That was Michigan football from Bo Schembechler to Gary Moeller to Lloyd Carr, and then eventually from okay, there was a bit of a break when they went to Rich Rod and tried something different, right back to Brady Hoke, Jim Harbaugh, and Kyle Whittingham, who, what does he think should be done? Defending the run and running the football. So, that's kind of, the Lions have an identity that way too. And in doing so, like a Jalen, okay, let's say we were to lose. We don't want to think about that, but let's say we were to lose a Brian Branch. Okay. Well, we know that his type of player that he is, or what he brought to the table, it works well within our defensive scheme, which is an adaptation off of that defensive scheme that Brian Branch became a Detroit Lion under with Aaron Glenn. Aubrey Shepard's, or not Aubrey Shepard, Calvin Shepard's is just an adaptation. It's just his own wrinkle of that. So, I mean, Brian Branch befits within that very, very well. If Brian Branch were not to come back, and that we know that that's a distinct possibility in the future, and we have a player that's going to plug in and do that. What do we need desperately? Well, I think Brian Branch is not able to play for quite some time yet. We need someone to plug in and play Brian Branch. So I think even though he's not Brian Branch, he could jump back in because he's another guy with a lot of games under his belt.
But just being a realist, they have to plan that he won't be able to play this year, and he's going to be a free agent after this season. So it's really a big need. And that's why I really like Kilgore. But I get what you're saying, certainly, and I agree with you. But I'm really hoping, I don't want them to reach, but it sounds like based on what we're talking, like overall, where he's kind of ranking based on where the pick's at, it makes sense. But I hear you.
No, that's if they were to do that, those were the first three picks. This Lions fan is surely happy and pleased.
Well, not two consecutive OSU players, two consecutive players from the Ohio State just went off the board. The Rams took Max Clare, the tight end, which is interesting. They're loading up. And then Davison Igbinosun from Ohio State went to Buffalo, second round. So
he jumps the list on some good cornerbacks. I don't think that have been drafted yet. So
we had him as a dark horse, if I'm not mistaken. So
Ohio State had a ton of football players drafted so far for a team that did not win the national championship. So I mean, they had a very, 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 very talented group this past year. But that being said, I mean that's I guess this hurry up and wait mentality as far as the Lions. What teams? Let's get away from the Lions for a minute here. I have a student over at my current location of employment at Austin Catholic High School. There's some kids there that kids are kids. They and some sports nuts. And it's fun to talk to them. And there's a kid here that I think he really just wants to become a New York Jets fan. Which I respect. These kids are just so into it that they I do to be young again, right? And and he wanted to hit me up right away this morning about the New York Jets draft. They've done pretty well.
Oh,
he's not a remiss for mentioning. They've done a nice job.
Really nice job. Well, let's take a look at those picks. I'm going to cue them up here in a second, but and realistically, Coach, we had them going with RL Reese at number 2, and a lot of people did, but a lot of people had David Bailey going here, and that's where they went. David Bailey, who is clearly the best edge pass rusher in the draft, out of Texas Tech, and man, I know we liked him a lot too, but I mean, outstanding football player. Talk about him.
Yeah, I mean, his athletic ability is second to none. I mean, 400 plus bench. He's north of 500 in the squat. There's a lot of guys in the NFL that can do that, but there's a lot that can't either. It's kind of a Mendoza line, if you will, for the super strong. And he is that way, and he's extremely explosive. He's going to be kind of a muse to a certain degree for Aaron Glenn.
Well, great.
I don't see him using him at linebacker very often, but I mean, but what he may do is do some things. I mean, you're allowed to grow as a coach. You're not just who you are. Don Shula surely was different at the end of his career from an offensive scheme than he was in 1953 or whatever it is that he came into the league. You do adapt. Could he adapt and do a little bit more 3-4 stuff? Because that's when you could really make David Bailey a unicorn type player. Mm-hmm. So I mean, but I mean, he's got that explosive first. He's going to help that defense get a lot better.
Yeah, outstanding pick, and but yeah, just to have, we knew they were going in. They had the 2, and then they end up getting the additional pick, the 3rd pick, and I'm going to cue those up here shortly. At number 16, they came into the draft with the number 16 pick as well, and they went kind of where we were thinking that they would go here. Very possibly was Kenyon Sadiq out of Oregon, but let's talk about him, Coach.
Insane athlete. I mean, he's got DK Metcalf and almost borderline Kelvin Johnson type measurables inside of that body as a tight end. He's built like them a little bit. He's a leaner guy. As far as inline tight ends, Kenyon Sadiq is not necessarily that, but they have more than one tight end for the Jets. Again, this is going to be another scheme kind of discovery player for them. It's going to grow the team. They're going to be different. And yes, he could very well supplant like a Garrett Wilson, like as a guy in targets or something like that. Because this kid can run like the wind. He just gets open. He's just one of those get open type players. Now he's got to become a blocker, and there's a lot of Bill Parcells and Aaron Glenn too. He's going to toughen him up. He's not going to. The road is not going to be just a gravy train with biscuit wheels. It's going to be there's going to be some effort that's going to be put into this too. And Kenyon Sadiq's going to have to show that. There's grit that he's going to make him show. But yeah, man, they did well there too.
Well, he's a willing blocker. We've seen the tape. He's a willing blocker, but it hasn't been his forte or his calling card. But he's a willing blocker, so I would feel good about him. As a Jets fan, that's for sure. But then they trade back into the first round again, and they go get a wide receiver, Omar Cooper Jr. out of Indiana. Outstanding player, our number 4 receiver on the board. Coach, talk about him.
Yeah, I mean, he's a supreme talent. It's a supreme talent. Some other guys had come off the board by then. They may have been, they've had such a good draft so far. They may have been thinking that maybe like a Mekhi Lemon or something like that, or Jordan Tyson may have been back on the board. They were gone, so they knew that they wanted where they wanted to go before the wide receiver board started to change a little bit. So they nabbed one of Kurt Cignetti's guys, but this was not one of a transfer Hoosier. This was a player that went there right out of the gates, near 96% catch rate. So he catches the football. This is a sure-handed player. Made many clutch grabs. They were going to lose to Penn State, and Fernando threw a real high pass that was probably only Omar Cooper was the only player on that field that could possibly catch it. Mm-hmm. And he did make the play. I mean, he is a guy that came up big in big situations in the receiving game for the Hoosiers. He's a guy, he's going to have to be a physical and capable blocker. Now, there's a couple of things. Omar Cooper had lost reps at times in his career due to what was perceived as some coaches' rubs. Maybe there was some friction there and some attitude and some discipline, not from a problem standpoint, but from maybe a little bit of abrasiveness standpoint. And he lost his way a little bit, but he's ebbed and flowed out of that. I don't know if he's around the right guy if he wants to get pushy with his mouth in the form of Aaron Glenn. He may have found the wrong sheriff to put your hands on your holsters with. Because I have a feeling that's not going to fly there. And that might be the greatest thing for Omar Cooper that ever happened too. Because it's very clear what they're trying to do here. They're trying to forge a pass game to support Garrett Wilson. And, Kenyon Sadiq and Omar Cooper surely do that. Don't you think, Drew?
Absolutely. They do. We got 10 minutes to go, Coach. I just want to touch on two things before I'll get back into this. But Jake Slaughter off the board to Coach Harbaugh in Los Angeles at the Chargers.
They had a center retire.
Yeah, Jake Slaughter's the guy. And then the Super Bowl champs get Bud Clark, the safety. Yeah,
another fun name to talk about.
Yeah, last pick of the second round. So they're on to the third round now. Like I said, we got 10 minutes to go. We're getting back to the Jets there. Oh, my gosh. They got markedly better on their defensive line with Bailey. And then now you've got additional weapons with Geno Smith. You've still had Wilson there. You've got Ruckert and at tight end there already, who they drafted. And Mason Taylor as well. Jelani Woods is on the roster. I'm looking at it now. So they've got guys. I mean, they've got a lot of weapons. And at receiver, with Cooper, and Garrett Wilson, Arian Smith. They've got some players there. They probably could use another Adonai Mitchell, who they got in there.
Yeah, Adonai Mitchell from last year from Texas. Yep, he was in the dark horse for us. I think.
Yes, he was. He was in the Sauce Gardner trade. So
that's where they acquired him from Indianapolis.
Yep. So they're in really good shape. I'm happy for Coach Glenn. I'm happy he's out of the conference, but he's got to load it up a little bit. Now they had a good defense to begin with.
Interesting times. It's an interesting time to be a team in the AFC East because you have one team that is clearly not even trying to compete. And that's the Miami Dolphins.
Yeah,
I am not. I am very. That's an organization I looked up to when I was a kid. I don't know if everyone was different, but I know you were a wild NFL fan when you were young too. But when I really first got into watching this,
there was no hate. It was respect for Coach Shula.
Big time Shula, and they were a good team and a playoff team that went to the Super Bowl, especially when they got Marino back.
Oh yeah,
and even in through the '90s, they were always a playoff team, and things got different. And they've had some great coaches come through there: Nick Saban, Jimmy Johnson. It just doesn't seem to get going. But what they're doing now, I don't have a lot of respect for. It does not seem. I don't know what they're doing. I don't know how you to tank. I've never really. I don't think I've seen a team tank in the NFL like what appears that they're trying to do. They wiped out their receivers and their quarterback, and they've really kind of just taken their time in replacing them.
I don't get why they released Tagovailoa. I don't. They're on the hook.
Or they're going to June 1st.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, exactly. If they actually pull the trigger on this and all in,
I think it is done. I think he's already kind of agreed to go to Atlanta.
Well, yeah, I mean they signed Willis, right? So
yeah, that's their guy.
So it's done. I don't know. I mean they gave Willis $30 million.
They're thinking he's going to be Lamar Jackson. And he's grown. He's grown because there's another player we featured in these episodes and talked at length at one time was Malik Willis.
I guess it's
years back.
I guess
you remember that?
Shot. Yeah. Oh yeah. We had him. I picked him to go to Carolina. I think it was eighth overall. And it wasn't. It was like hit or miss. No, he ended up going to the third round. That was my worst pick, biggest miss that I've had. But he's become a very very solid quarterback, and he's going to get his chance to start in Miami.
Hit or miss. Because he's already done that because he was left for dead for a minute there with Tennessee.
Oh yeah.
It was like he was like Josh Rosen.
Carson Beck off the board to the Cardinals for third round, first pick in the third round, 65th overall.
That's a team that has some quarterback needs.
Yes. Oh yeah.
And we talk about Jacoby Brissett backed up by Carson Beck. So not what we're talking about is Carson Beck he's going to be a future starting quarterback in this league much faster than Ty Simpson.
And they got Gardner Minshew over there too. So
they do, but this is another guy. You know who I would love, who I think where Gardner Minshew would look great?
Detroit.
He's the type of guy that you do. But
he can play.
We don't need Gardner Minshew and Teddy Bridgewater.
No.
Fortification. Maybe you get some young kid, and we're going to be around just to run around and help us defend the running quarterbacks better. And maybe like if they bag Melrose because they just said you can't, I'll take them.
Oh hell yeah.
We're not gonna use. He's not in the quarterback plan. No. And maybe we help him become some sort of like wildcat, like extraordinaire slash type.
You never know.
He fit that, but like I think that's kind of why they always had talked about Haynes King. But getting back to our position groups in this one, and like we're at 65. Like you said, that Carson Beck was the 65th pick in the draft. We are now what 53 picks away from
the last
one.
Yeah.
If without any, I don't know if I want us jumping up anymore. I just don't know. How much of tomorrow would it wipe out, or how much of next year would it wipe out? Would it be worth it?
We've seen them do it, but it's been for guys like Manu and Broderick Martin, and that's what scares.
We've done, but the thing is that we just did that last year.
That's a luxury pick.
We don't have that luxury. I don't think we can do that.
I agree.
And if he ever did it again and made move in that area, I'm for it. I hope for his sake it ends up being one of his gems and not one of the areas of the draft where there's a struggle. It just seems like it's been a phantom area for that area. But honestly though, where is Brad Holmes? Where has he always? Where did he make his name? Where did he probably forge his identity as to why he was hired from the Rams to become the Lions general manager? Is his ability to nail day 3 prospects.
Day 3.
And that is where we're loaded. This draft was tailor-made for Brad Holmes. And I'm very juiced to get to the end of this board today to see who's left. Because that would be a fun discussion, Drew.
Oh, absolutely. Because I'm excited because the Lions they took care of business in this draft so far. They just drafted their starting right tackle and their starting opposite edge of Hutch, Derek Moore. I
think Wanham is probably going to be Wanham, DJ Wanham may be the starter, but
heavy rotation.
But more
heavy rotation.
Yeah. It's Moore might be in there for Hutch at times.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it's part of the rotation. I'm real excited about it. They really addressed the very significant needs, especially right tackle with Blake Miller. That's awesome. Would like to see safety. Would like to see another linebacker
or DB
DB in general. They've handled it in free agency. Like I said, Maddox is back and a few others that they've signed. They're in better shape now, but wouldn't mind seeing that. That's why Tinneman was a guy that was being considered. Certainly, I would think at 17. But the need for tackle too great. And again, those are the only negative things I've seen. And I know we got to wrap up here shortly, but we're so far so good, Coach. Pretty happy with what Brad Holmes and company are doing.
I wouldn't be surprised, and I'm sure we will. I think it's fair that we double up in some areas. Do I expect them to do that? I don't know. I don't know what their plan is. They may want to hit on a few more things and and bring
D-tackle
in
never
just a few
hurts.
more prospects anywhere.
D-tackle never hurts.
Yeah. I think they're addressing that. I think they kind of have to. I think just the injuries.
Yeah.
We have some good defensive linemen on our team, but it's not the greatest. In regards to that defense just needs more players. So linebacker, it feels fairly fortified. It does.
Rodrigo's back. And of course Jack Campbell and Derek Barnes. So the big three are there. It's depth. It's depth, and then there's some guys. Let's see.
I mean, like a Jay Sean Barham. I don't know when he's going to come off the board. There's another one that's at around 118. If he were to be there, I don't think he will be. I think he'll be gone by then because he's a guy that can give you backer and like off the ball box linebacker, like the Lions play with their linebackers, and edge. He can give you both, which would be a great little unicorn player to have.
Yeah.
Being that we with Anzalone gone, there is a roster fit for a player that could be potentially a drafted linebacker. I'm thinking defense. Do you expect some more offensive line to be drafted?
I don't expect it, but it wouldn't shock me at all. I mean, if they like what they see, they're gonna do it. But I mean, I without draining the depth chart, they really are pretty covered right now. They've got their starting five, and they've got a significant backup right behind it at every position, that's so significant. Because they're going to play, right? It's just how it's been. So it wouldn't surprise me at all if they really like somebody, they're going to go for it. Not sure if that would mean that they're not confident in somebody either, because there's a lot of money invested and everyone's starting, other than Mahogany at left guard. Because I think he was a 6th or 7th round.
Yeah, he was a 5th or
one of them. Yeah, he was a day 3 guy, definitely.
Yeah.
We liked him a lot, but
we featured him. He was a dark horse.
Yeah, we didn't think he'd slip that far, but we were glad we have him. He's likely a starter. No, but it wouldn't surprise me, and I wouldn't scoff at it. Like I said, take the best player available, except at certain spots like quarterback or running back or receiver. You're covered there.
The offensive skill guys probably taken off the board. Maybe a tight end.
Maybe. Yeah. I mean, I'm seeing Boriker out of A&M, who we features as a dark horse.
He would be fit because I think that'd be the kind of style tight end that they would be looking for. Yep. And I just think now that could be a clear and present thing. We could be looking at a tight end one off the board if our great player in Sam Laporta is not able to return to form due to just physically not being able to do it.
Or if they can't afford him. There's that.
We decide that we've got to invest into the safety position. Branch is coming back. Things are looking and feeling good. Honestly, he is more valuable because we can probably go out and get somebody. If we had to use our first round pick on a tight end, I mean, the Lions, there are some prognostications. I thought there was a Pro Football Focus early ranking that we have the easiest schedule in the league next year. We'll take it. I mean, I don't know if that's true or not. You never know what you can believe anymore. No. But that is definitely going to help us. We are not going to be drafting at 17 next year.
No. This is a solid playoff team. Super Bowl.
It's in the 20s at the very least.
Super Bowl contender.
I'm guessing middle 20s at the very least.
I already like the Lions to be very competitive and be a Super Bowl contender. I can't say I'm going to say I'm predicting it right now, but I like their roster. They're going to add more to it now, so I'm getting more excited. The two biggest holes were filled. They've got a defensive
solid hits.
Yeah. I mean, but again, they weren't wow splash picks. The more picks actually kind of a splash pick trading up to get them. That was nice. I know the Miller pick seemed underwhelming, but he's a real nice player.
I think we've learned that really that position group just slid up so high.
Riley Reif and Jeff Backus come to mind to me right away. I mean, they were kind of vanilla picks, but man, how many years they played each. I mean, in the NFL at a pretty high level. They took a lot of crap. They're on some bad teams. those guys played in the league a long.
Riley Reef left, so and he wound up being on some playoff teams.
Yeah, he did. Yeah, he did. I mean, Backus stayed, the whole 9 yards, but he, I'm not saying. Yeah, but I mean, it's. You see where I'm going with it. I mean,
100%. Well, a few years back, we made a splash pick with an offensive lineman by the name of Penny Sewell.
Oh yeah.
And that actually was a splash pick.
It was, because there was Micah Parsons on the board.
What the Cincinnati Bengals could have ever have been had they made that pick instead of Jamar Chase. And that's not – Jamar Chase is phenomenal. He's a great player. He's a guy I will look to put on my fantasy football roster next year.
They had receivers there. They still – T. Higgins, Tyler Boyd. I think A.J. Green was still there too, although I think they were about to part ways, but they still had 2 stud receivers. They really needed to draft Sewell. It was – obviously they're a successful team, but they got to the Super Bowl. They didn't win it, but Burrow almost got killed against the Titans that one playoff game, 9 sacks, and that's where it really accentuated that might be the need. We didn't think Sewell would be there either. When he fell there, we thought
Burrow finished the last 2 seasons.
No,
he didn't even finish. They can't even keep him on the field.
So
I mean, he can't stay on the field. He's getting season-ending injuries. So I mean, hey, so we did make that. I think just because of him. I mean, in regards to offensive tackle tandems for the Lions of all time, when you have like a Penny Sewell, and once a Blake Miller reaches his potential, I think you could fairly say that it's been the offensive tackle positions has been as good as it's ever been in franchise history. I had to call them the best tandem of all time. When you have one so clearly good, that it's there's a lot of guys that could be there's a lot of guys that could everybody be Robin or just Burt Ward, Drew. I mean,
that's a fantastic question.
Is he good enough to be that guy? Is he good enough to be, Robin, our guy Blake Miller? I think he is. I think he is.
I think so too. I'm very happy about.
We know who Adam West is.
We certainly do. He wears number 58, the jersey you're sporting right there. Very fine 3rd jersey for the Detroit Lions. No, yeah, we're excited about this. It's going to be fun. But we're going to wrap it up, Coach. Great talking to you. Great analysis as always on these picks and the draft in general. Really highlighting a lot of nice stuff with the Jets there. Let's see what happens day 3 here. And now maybe Brad Holmes will trade up. So far, he has not. A pick of note: Sam Roush, tight end out of Stanford, to the Chicago Bears at 69.
Ooh, they got 2 good ones now. I like Sam Roush.
Yeah.
So Colt Vet's gone. Has to be. I mean, unless 13 personnel. It looks like they might be loading up.
Yeah.
They got 3 tight ends over in Chicago. They know what they are doing I'm hoping Aurora Park, Illinois. I'm not going to ever talk about the Chicago Bears too long because I just don't like them at all. They're they're probably the most vile team in my rivalry spectrum. So, but I will respect you. And you did good with that one. That's a tough kid. That's a good identity player. He's going to fit well. The Chicago Bear fans are going to like him.
Yeah, they're getting loaded up over there. They're going to be a handful. But great talking football as always with you, Coach. We're going to be sticking around. We'll get a draft review out there to look at the Lions picks and the draft in general coming up shortly here. But for Coach Shield, I'm Drew. Take care, everybody. We'll talk to you soon. This has been a Sports Peninsula podcast. Thank you for watching, and don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe to our channel on YouTube. You can also follow us on X as well as Facebook so you don't miss an episode. When you want to hear all about sports in the great state of Michigan, there is only one Sports Peninsula podcast.